Recently, I was tagged in a WhatsApp chat conversation where people were talking about should creators give away their raw footage slash their original project files to their clients? Should it be available to them? Should they feel inclined to? And a lot of people were saying like, no, like this is my personal style, my personal work. If you wanted to like edit yourself, then you should have hired another company. That's not what we offer. And other people were saying like, it's small-minded. Like, just give us the raw footage. We'll hire you again. We'll send you like more clients. Like, just give me the raw footage. And it was like a lot of back and forth. And I didn't get involved because I didn't think that like I was going to get a word in, or really have like a productive impact. But I did want to speak to you about this today because this is something that comes up all the time as a creator. Typically, what I've done is when a client asks me for the raw footage, I ask them like, what are your plans with it? And in the past, I've had different requests. So like we've had requests for they wanted an archive of footage to be able to compile social media videos out of or put on their website, use for different presentations and slides that they had going on. So in that case, like absolutely. But keep in mind what we're delivering at that point is a colored version of footage. We're editing this footage to be in a raw format. So you're getting it clip by clip or you're getting the original. But this is colored and processed on our end, right? So we still brought it into our editing software and processed it for you to be ready to do whatever you like. So a really big detail here is when clients are asking for the raw footage, they're really asking for like the raw footage that was 25, maybe 50% of like processed. So very often like this won't include like an audio edit, but it's colored and it's cut by the time you got it, right? So especially at Emruld Media where we shoot in S-Log, and I know that most creators are shooting in some sort of log profile. When clients ask us for the raw footage, they want it colored. Like there's no way they would be able to color Rec 709 their LUT according to like, they wouldn't even know what a LUT is. Most clients have no idea what a LUT is. So when they ask us for the raw footage, they don't want the log profile footage. They want the halfway edited, 25% edited, colorized and everything footage, right? So a big part of this conversation is, do you want the raw footage or you want the raw footage? Because in your mind, they're thinking like, you're just going to copy this SD card and send that out to me. And that's not the reality. Now, could we shoot a colorized version? Yeah. And it's not nearly as high quality or the extent of like what we could have done if it was a log. So this is a really important point because the raw footage very often is not raw the way that people think it is. It's not straight off the SD card. It's totally a processed and slightly edited, even if it's not heavily edited, even if it's not stylized, even if it's not like tuned to exactly what the creator would have done. It's not raw. One of the people on this chat was saying that it's small-minded not to share the original files because if you just share your original files, you'll get much more clients, will send you more business. You're penny pinching, right? So in response to that, what I would say to that client is, first of all, this conversation only ever happens when the client is penny pinching. When they're paying the full budget, like at Emruld Media at least, we just release the log footage, or we edit it for them and send them out. We want our clients to be very, very happy. It's not even a conversation with our full paying clients. The only way that this would ever happen to anyone, which it wouldn't happen to us because we don't like give discounts, which we'll get to in another video, but if this would happen to a creator where the person's like, I want the raw footage, and they're like, okay, but there's a fee for that. And they're like, what? But it's my raw footage. You shot it for me. What are you going to use it for otherwise? And they have all these like questions and points to make, and you could say, and for the person that says that it's small-minded, I will say the only reason this conversation comes up is when people are penny pinching. If they bargained you down to like only specific deliverables so that the budget could come down, and they want the budget to be as low as possible because it's such a huge focus of theirs, not the investment or the growth or the solution that it solves. They're just like really focused on the budget. Then raw footage comes up because you whittled down this creator to exactly what they're going, like the lowest possible price they could give you, and then you asked for more. So the raw footage is like totally an additional value. Let's go into how raw footage is an additional value, okay? Like, number one is the obvious, which is the archive. Right, you'll always be able to use this footage in the future. That's a massive value just by itself. And when the person says, okay, but it's my footage, it's footage of me, so if I never hire you again, what are you going to do with this footage? It's useless to you. What I would say is like, well, if I have tons of your footage, then you are going to hire me again. I become the obvious choice. because I'll never delete your footage. Anytime you have a project, you'll reach out to us and we can take on those projects. So by giving you this raw footage, it gives like no incentive for the creator who shot it to be the creator who edited it. And honestly, the creator who shot it deserves the right to be the creator who edits it, unless that's just not their thing. Some creators don't like editing and they just like shooting, and then like that's a specific example. Most artists who use cameras and film and photographers who create also want their style to remain their style, and for you to not mess with the color editing, the transitions, any of the edits. This applies for photography as well. The general rule with photographers is if you throw a color edit on Instagram over their edit, that's seen as pretty disrespectful, because when you're hiring an expert, they're not just pushing a button, they're really putting tremendous thought into the colors that are in your photo. And I know this from all the photographers that I know. We put a tremendous amount of focus and energy into creating artwork. And for you to go and massively change that, unless you have like specific instructions or permission to do that, it seems pretty disrespectful, because you hired an artist and then you went and changed their art. Imagine if you did that with something that was going to be hanging on your wall, which photography very often does. It hangs on the wall, right? So when you hire a specific artist and they like put their signature on it and it's with their style, when you're buying that art, it should be to like enjoy that artist's art, right? Not to go change it afterwards. And it's literally the same exact thing. Then there's another aspect to this where if we play this story out, you could see how we, the creator, actually take a hit when we give away the raw footage. So what this means is if we give away the ability to completely control and edit all the color and all the edits, then there's like a 0% chance that those edits will be done. If they're done by another studio, there's a 0% chance that that's going to be done in the style that we, the creator, would have done it in, right? In this business exchange, we, the creators, need to understand that if we give away this raw footage, we're now giving away the ability to point at an Instagram account, a website, or a video created and say to a future client, oh yeah, like you see this lawyer, construction company, barber company that I worked for, and you want to like be able to use that as a portfolio piece to be able to advance your business. You can't. None of these edits were done by you, and it's not done in your style, and it's not how you would have done it. And it just like it takes a name off the list of a company that you can use for a reference portfolio of an example of your work. And that's a huge hit to take as a creator. We're constantly trying to level up our work, and at least at Emruld Media, and I hope this for you as well, is you're constantly trying to level up your work. So as you're getting better and better, you want to be able to show that off. And by giving away the raw footage, you're like allowing another creator to take that on, which means you can't use it as a portfolio piece. And that is a huge loss. With all of this in mind, we've had this conversation a bunch of times, and the conclusion that we came to is that so many times what our clients need is actually not the raw footage. And we see this again and again, is if I would give them the raw footage, like this log footage, they wouldn't even know what to do with it. And even if they would, it's a whole added step that they need to take. So what we realized was we created a package called Mini Clips, which is edited videos, which are color edited, transitions and everything except for music. And then someone can go and pair that up with any sound that they want on their own Instagram or anywhere online. And they have like a 95% edited video that they just finish off. And then another thing that we offer is action clips, which is clips broken down, color edited, and they're all neatly in a folder for you to go and choose from. So the client will see, like, let's say they're a construction company, they'll have the clip will say crane 1, crane 2, crane 3. So they know, like, oh, these clips are of cranes, and this one's like operator booth, you know. So this way they see everything broken down, and that's really what they needed. Not to be color editing this footage, they just wanted to put it in order. And then when I'm showing it to a client, I could say, hey, all this footage was color edited by us and then put together by their social media team. And then a client could see the massive value in that, and I don't end up losing. My business ends up thriving. It's a great example of how we work with our clients to give them exactly what they need. And very often that's not the raw footage, that's not the original file. There is one case One of my clients, very often I give him the raw footage, and that's because he has a YouTube channel and he's making these long form videos, and there's a very high likelihood that he will absolutely need these files in the future to make shorter vertical videos or social media videos, whatever it is. He absolutely can repurpose these videos in the future. So for him, I make these videos available to him to download because it's like hundreds of gigs of video, and on his end, he just knows that he has that securely saved, and he has it on his own safe hard drives, and he actually is quite tech savvy. So sometimes we'll send him over a thumbnail for his YouTube, and he can ask me like, hey, I just want to make slight adjustments, and I'll even send him over the Photoshop file for him to go ahead and edit his own thumbnail, because explaining to me what he wants would take way longer than him just being able to do it himself. Most of our clients don't know how to use Photoshop files. Most of our clients wouldn't even know what to do with the Adobe Premiere profile. And even if they do, then the conversation becomes, well, if you edit my original files, then it's no longer my work. I'm losing out on a portfolio. So I'm going to end this off by saying, where do I stand? What's my opinion? And what do I practice with my company, Emruld Media? What do we do here? When a client asks us for the raw footage, they can expect that we're going to ask them for what it is that they need, and then we're going to deliver on that. And if what they need is the raw footage, whether that's log or color, we're always going to get as close as we can to giving them exactly what it is that's going to serve their purposes the best. If it's raw footage, then it's raw footage. If it's the log, not log, whatever it is that's going to advance them and help them the most, 100%. We're open to releasing it, giving it, sending you a file with all of it, and you could download it on your own. You could keep it by yourself. Something our clients can depend on that we've mentioned in other videos is our Emruld archive. We have a server with all our footage on it, and that means that our clients can always come back to us and work from old projects and use footage from past projects, and they love this. So very often we've already fulfilled that need. So they don't need to store it by themselves, but if they want the raw footage to be able to edit it, we always ask, what's your need, and then deliver on that. So our understanding is, because there's such a massive value to this raw footage, we love to be able to deliver on that massive value if that's what our clients need. Because we're very dedicated to being like an all-around solution for our clients, whenever they bring up the raw footage, we just try to be as open and flexible as possible and are open to a conversation about releasing raw footage.